In a town called Ide, there lived a couple named Abel and Bimbo Oko. Mr. Abel Oko is a devoted husband and father. He was working in one of the food packaging companies in the town as a manager, while his wife Bimbo Oko is also a devoted mother and wife. She is a nurse who worked in a clinic in the next town. Bimbo and Abel Oko has two baby girls named Neoma and Nenna, and they were both very much loved by their parents. The children were enrolled in a primary school a few miles away from their house. Abel and Bimbo were busy parents, and they tried their best to combine their jobs and catering for the needs of their two girls. They would shuffle their school runs and other extracurricular activities amongst themselves. They also shuffled the house chores and preparing meals for their family to maintain a good balance. Their kids would get back from school and stay at their neighbor's house until one of them returns from work. As months went by, the day-to-day tasks were becoming more tedious, and the matter of their children's safety became a concern. Abel and Bimbo sat down to discuss how they would manage their affairs moving forward. Bimbo suggested resigning from her job and becoming a full-time mom, but Abel, her husband, didn't like the idea so much. His salary alone may not be able to cater for the entire family. He promised his wife that he would be on the lookout for a higher paying job, but until then, he suggested the option of employing a nanny. Bimbo opposed the idea because she was skeptical about having a stranger near their home. But Abel convinced her that it was a temporary solution and he would actively start job hunting for a better job. And then she can stay home and cater for their kids. They both came to a conclusion to hire a nanny. Bimbo sent words out to her friends and some family members that she is hiring for a nanny and would appreciate a good referral. She also contacted some professional agencies, and they promised to communicate to her if someone matched her description. After some weeks, Bimbo's distant aunt called to inform her that she has found a young lady willing to work. Bimbo's aunt told Bimbo that the girl was working for her neighbor who had just relocated out of the country. Bimbo was very happy and asked for the girl to be brought down to their house. On the bright Sunday morning, Evelyn, the nanny, arrived at the house of Abel and Bimbo Oko. She was a beautiful young girl, 19 years of age, and looked very neat. Bimbo asked her some questions about her background, and she told the couple that she is a secondary school graduate. The couple were relieved that at least she could be helpful with their kids' studies in their absence. She was shown to her room, which is the room closest to the children's room. She was also introduced to the kids as a new nanny, and the girls, Neoma and Nenna, welcomed her with a big smile. The next day, Evelyn, the nanny, got up as early as 5 a.m. She cleaned the house, made breakfast, packed the kids' lunch bags, and then got the kids ready for school. Abel and Bimbo were so impressed, and they felt at ease as they left for work. After school, Evelyn brought the kids back from school, made them dinner, and helped them through their assignments. When the couple got back home, she also served them dinner and drew them a bath. Bimbo and Abel were so grateful to the universe for bringing Evelyn their way. Weeks passed into months, and the nanny Evelyn continued in her pace in making life easier for Abel and Bimbo. The kids became very fond of her and relied on her greatly for their day-to-day activities. As a form of encouragement, Abel increased her salary, and Bimbo would occasionally shop new clothes for her. Everything seemed normal and moving the way they should. On a fateful Saturday morning, Evelyn informed the couple that she would be attending her sister's wedding and would need a day off. The couple agreed to her request without hesitation, as she had been an amazing person the last couple of weeks. Evelyn returned to their house on Sunday afternoon, and everything was normal, or so they thought. She brought some biscuits and candies and shared them secretly with the children. She even put some in their lunch bags the next day. That night, the kids, Nana and Noma, had a terrible nightmare. They found themselves in a forest with candles surrounding them. They also saw a group of women dressed in white garments, and their faces almost black as coal, staring down at them. The children woke up screaming. Their mother rushed into their room and consoled them. She told them it was just a harmless nightmare and rocked them back to sleep. The next night, the girls had a scarier nightmare, and this time they were being pursued by those women dressed in black garments. They were running and screaming in the dream, and the women eventually caught up with them and whipped them so badly with the canes they were holding. The girls woke up screaming again, but this time around, they also had physical marks on their body. Evelyn rushed to their room and cuddled them back to sleep, with a dangerous smirk on her face. After a few days, the nightmares stopped, but the girls would have dreams where they were eating with those scary women in black garments. This time around, Evelyn was in their dream too, dressed in the same way as those women. As days go by, Evelyn will bring the kids back from school. She will lay them down on their beds, and their spirits will travel to their kingdom, where they would play around till evening. Their mother came into their room to wake them up one morning and found the girls laughing and giggling as they slept. She was a bit disturbed, as this had never happened, but she shrugged it off and felt they were playing around in their innocent dreams. Little did she know that her daughters had been initiated into a marine kingdom by their house help, Evelyn. But gradually, the girls began to change. Their grades were dropping badly. They were getting into fights at their school. They were being reported for being disobedient to their teachers. Abel and Bimbo were called in by the school 4 times in 2 weeks as a result of the drastic change in their daughters' behaviors. One of the incidents that broke the camel's back was that after their nap time at school one day, all their classmates started crying and calling for their parents. They alleged to have seen Nana and Noma chasing and flogging them in their dream. The weird part is, some of them have physical flog marks on their bodies. Nana and Noma were called aside by their teachers for some questioning, but they kept mute and rolled their eyes like owls. And so the teachers called their parents, Bimbo and Abel, who rushed over to the school without hesitation. The teachers narrated what happened and advised them to find out why their children are behaving strangely and their grades dropping drastically. Bimbo decided to be more cautious and set some traps to find answers. One fateful night, Bimbo was having sleepless nights, and so she decided to stroll around the house. As she was approaching her kids' room, she heard a faint sound, and so she went closer quietly. And that was when she saw Evelyn, the house nanny, saying some strange words as she sat on a seat close to her kids' beds. She was wearing a black dress and her face was dark. She also noticed that her kids were wearing a white garment, chanting a song quietly in their sleep. Bimbo screamed at the top of her voice, terrified. Evelyn quickly snapped out of the realm she was in and saw her boss Bimbo standing at the door. Bimbo rushed to her children and woke them up too. Evelyn dropped on the floor and started rolling around like a serpent. She was screeching in pain, saying all sorts of abusive words on Bimbo, who was looking on terrified as ever before. Abel rushed into the kids' room too as the noise became unbearable and saw Evelyn screaming on the ground as she wriggled her body like a serpent. A neighbor was alerted and they rushed into their house to apprehend Evelyn. The neighbor pointed out that it seemed Evelyn belonged to a marine kingdom, and so he suggested that they used some mustard seed to dismiss the spirit that has clearly possessed her. Abel brought some mustard seeds and threw them at Evelyn, and almost immediately, Evelyn started crying and begging for forgiveness. She confessed to have wanted to finalize the initiation process of Nana and Norma, their kids, but their mother Bimbo interrupted the rituals. She also confessed to having used biscuits and some candies to gradually introduce and initiate the kids into their kingdom. Bimbo and Abel were dumbfounded. They had accepted Evelyn into their home and treated her right, and this is the best way for her to repay their kindness. Bimbo rushed to her kids and hugged them tightly as they cried on her shoulders. Evelyn was fired from the Oko's family and handed over to the town's police for further investigation. Bimbo quit her job and decided to become a stay-at-home mom to cater for her children by herself, while Abel got a better offer that would be more than enough to cater for his family. The girls became vibrant and smart as they used to be, and the Oko family continued to live in gratitude, while the scary encounter they had with Evelyn would linger on in their hearts forever.